In the blazing red glow of the sunset over the Judean desert, a woman walks, carrying the weight of truth and the fire of courage. Have you ever wondered what drives an unnamed woman in the Bible to become an instrument of divine justice? Today we will uncover the untold story of the Woman of Tekoa, sent by King David not merely to persuade but to bring redemption. This story brims with grace, faith, and wisdom, reminding us that God often chooses ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. Join us on this challenging spiritual journey where courage confronts injustice and truth prevails. Don't forget to hit subscribe to never miss the untold stories of women in the Bible. Under the scorching sunlight of the Tekoa Desert, where the wind weaves through every crevice of blazing sand, a slender figure emerges before a humble stone house. That woman, whose true name remains unknown, is recorded in the Bible with a simple title, the Woman of Tekoa. She is neither of royal lineage nor blessed with the gift of prophecy. She is merely a widow, a single mother, living quietly amidst barren fields and the mournful songs of her village. Fragments of hopeful prayers, whispered petitions by the well, and the sighs of burdened souls create a melancholic atmosphere that envelops her. In Tekoa, a small town nestled on the hillside near Bethlehem, rumors persist that the spirit of justice lingers in the rocky crevices, silently observing age-old sorrows. Each morning before the first rays of sunlight can dazzle the eyes, the Woman of Tekoa steps out from her single-room home, its roof thatched with dry leaves, and walks through in her eyes, though they have witnessed much suffering, still glimmer with faith in tomorrow. She pauses before children orphaned by loss, listening to their soft whimpers, then soothes them with gentle words. She visits the homes of young widows, murmuring comfort to ease their bitterness. Each time, her warm, steady voice acts like a balm, calming angry hearts and restoring hope to wounded spirits. Her bond with the villagers transcends mere casual exchanges. They believe her compassion and wisdom are divine gifts bestowed upon this parched land. Many times people have seen her sitting by the dry well, whispering private prayers, beseeching God to guide lost souls. The image of her, a common woman, without lavish robes or jeweled rings, holds a mysterious allure that commands respect from all. Then, one afternoon, as the desert sands still burned beneath bare feet, a troop of heavily armored cavalry rode into Tekoa. Among them was Joab, the renowned commander of King David. Amid the villagers' astonishment and curiosity, Joab sought out her simple home. He entrusted her with a mission that seemed impossible: to use her gift of speech to persuade Israel's mightiest king to forgive Absalom, his son, a murderer exiled for his crime. This challenge was unlike any duty she had ever undertaken. Speaking to common folk was familiar, but confronting the throne, addressing a king anointed by God and burdened with the responsibility of ruling his people, was beyond anything she had imagined. Joab's gaze, as he delivered the mission, held both respect and apprehension. He knew that if the Woman of Tekoa failed, not only would Absalom remain forever cast out, but the kingdom itself might descend into chaos, torn between fatherly love and the demands of justice. Yet Joab also believed that in this harsh desert, where the people's memories echoed with laments and grievances, she could be the only bridge to bring forgiveness to David's heart. As night fell, Tekoa sat before a flickering oil lamp, clutching a small book inscribed with scriptures about mercy and justice. She reflected on the role she was about to embrace, not merely a messenger, but a builder of a bridge between justice and compassion. Fear lingered in her heart, but her longing to foster reconciliation and hope burned stronger. She softly prayed, "May God guide me with the light of truth, so that the words I speak are not mine, but His voice." The next morning, as dawn painted the desert pink, the woman of Tekoa mounted a camel, joining the cavalry on their journey to Jerusalem. Along the way, she glanced back at Tekoa, the place of her birth and upbringing, the cradle of her people's quiet faith. The white stone houses, the children playing by the well, the gaunt figures who still smiled at her sight, all strengthened her resolve. Jerusalem greeted her with the solemn grandeur of the holy city, towering walls gleaming in the sunlight, banners bearing the emblem of David's dynasty fluttering in the breeze. Her mission began as she passed through the main gate, preparing to face King David, the former shepherd chosen by God to lead his people. The scene held a paradox. She, a widow with eyes full of sorrow, was about to engage in dialogue with a revered king. Beneath the majestic arches of the palace, Tekoa sensed the weighty atmosphere of power and responsibility. Each step echoed on the marble floor. She reminded herself that her words must reach the conscience of the monarch, forging a harmony between fatherly love and royal duty. She breathed slowly, steadying her mind like the steadfast rocks of Tekoa, the soul of justice in the arid desert. In the silent moment before the throne, Tekoa recalled the tears of her village, victims of injustice. She understood that this was not just a mission for Absalom and David, but a journey for all believers. To stand for justice, embody compassion, and trust in God's guidance. She stepped forward, ready to face the greatest challenge of her life, to transform the prayers whispered by Tekoa's well into reality within the heart of Israel's kingdom. And so, the journey of the woman of Tekoa began. A journey without scripted words, yet brimming with the power of wisdom, courage, and profound faith. She would be a messenger of hope, a flame illuminating the path to reconciliation in a kingdom on the brink of division. Her story would echo through time, reminding us that even the most ordinary, when chosen by God, can achieve deeds greater than any prophecy. As her feet touched the granite-paved courtyard before Jerusalem's city gate, each heartbeat urged the woman of Tekoa forward. The noonday sun reflected off the pristine white walls, dispelling the faint desert mist. Yet it could not erase the chilling grandeur of the palace before her. Instead of lavish gowns or ornate jewelry, she wore only a widow's cloak, its faded fabric stained with desert dust. The guards flanking the gate eyed her with a mix of curiosity and wariness, unable to fathom why an ordinary widow dared step into the seat of supreme power. This was Joab's plan, the loyal commander who had witnessed too many tragedies shatter the hearts of Tekoa's people. He believed that only the image of a mother bearing profound grief could touch King David's heart, persuading him to reconsider and extend mercy to his son Absalom. Joab's calculation of empathy's power was not mistaken. What he could not fully grasp was that within the woman of Tekoa, beyond her suffering, lay an unwavering faith and a pure wisdom. She passed through the intricately carved gate, her sandals tapping softly on the stone, drawing the gazes of courtiers and attendants standing on the periphery. The surrounding atmosphere pulsed with the austerity of power. Banners fluttered, Courtly music rang clear, yet human hearts still thrummed with schemes. Tekoa felt every eye upon her, some skeptical, others defiant, but she did not falter. Deep within, she knew she was not alone. The prayers whispered by Tekoa's well the previous night echoed in her ears, like God's gentle whisper of encouragement. Beneath the majestic vaulted ceiling of the great hall, where light poured through stained glass windows, Tekoa advanced toward the throne. The palace was eerily silent, filled only with the rhythm of her steps and the faint breaths of the guards. As her silhouette emerged before the crimson velvet curtain where King David sat, the air grew heavier. David, once a humble shepherd, now bore a metal crown and the weight of a nation, his face as cold as ice. His piercing gaze swept over her like a beam that could pierce the soul. This was the first moment of conflict, the instant she faced every doubt and challenge of power. Tekoa paused, letting steadfast faith guide her. She knelt on the carpet before the throne, her posture upright, as if to proclaim that, though worn by sorrow on the outside, an unconquerable strength endured within. Without grand speeches or pleading gestures, she bowed her head in silence, letting her eyes, shimmering with longing, speak a wordless language. In that moment, memories flooded back, her by the dry well in Tekoa, hand resting on its edge, whispering her heart to the Almighty. She recalled each tearful prayer for her village's relief from hunger, for the peace of departed souls. The night before, the sky was ablaze with stars, but the desert wind bit with cold. In her dream, she saw a pale light, like a gentle hand extended, instilling courage and wisdom. It was no mere vision, but a reminder. Truth, however raw, was the only path to reconciliation. After a long silence, when the stillness seemed to carry the universe's breath, the slow creak of a bucket drawing water echoed from the palace's rear, signaling the start of a feast. David's voice broke the quiet, heavy, and deliberate. Where did you get this story? A single question, enough to spark a flicker of fear in Tekoa's heart. But she stood firm. The tension in the room tightened like an invisible cord, yet her eyes blazed with resolve. This was no empty deceit, but the lived pain of those who had endured loss. In a fleeting moment, she recalled the haggard faces of Tekoa's mothers, the mournful voices of orphans, and the faint smiles of widows who had lost their husbands. These were the threads of the story she bore, and she knew that though the tale was crafted, its pain was real. Her heart pounded, but she offered a faint smile, as if placing her trust in an unseen hand that upheld her. The palace's bustle no longer distracted her. She focused on David's eyes, where schemes and inner wounds converged. She knew that if she could move his heart, not only would Absalom find forgiveness, but David's soul might find the path to reconciliation. Within her, a quiet hymn resounded, "The Lord is with me." With that reminder, she lifted her head higher, her expression serene, yet her gaze resolute. As every eye in the hall fixed on her, she understood this was more than a personal trial. It was a chance to sow seeds of hope in the kingdom's heart. Each breath she drew was tied to a greater mission, to deliver a message of forgiveness, rising above all political machinations. From the king's first glance to the courtier's slow reactions, Tekoa sensed a turning point approaching. She, an ordinary woman, had stepped into the heart of power to bridge justice and mercy. The initial conflict was fierce, Yet in that scene, her courage and faith ignited a vast spark of hope, opening a new horizon for Absalom, for David, and for the people of both Tekoa and Jerusalem. As she moved closer to the throne, the woman of Tekoa was no longer alone. She carried the strength of her prayers, the lives yearning for forgiveness, and greed ever present in every step of faith. Beneath the soaring stone vault of Jerusalem's palace, where morning light streamed through windows, casting shimmering streaks across the marble floor, the woman of Tekoa felt each heartbeat vividly. The grandeur of the setting might have dimmed the resolve of anyone else, but for her, the more majestic the space, the fiercer her courage blazed. She drew a deep breath, clasped her hands before her for her chest, and subtly shifted her stance, preparing for the pivotal moment in her mission. Beyond the crimson velvet curtains, King David's wealth and power unfolded like a majestic tableau. Yet, with steadfast eyes, Tekoa saw not the dazzling throne, but the face of a father, burdened with love, intertwined with resentment. In that instant, she knew her task was not merely to weave a fabricated tale, but to reach the depths of the king's conscience, helping him confront his inner conflict. Undeterred by the clamor of the court, Tekoa embarked on a deeper journey into the heart of her mission. She closed her eyes briefly, summoning the memory of the dry well in Tekoa, where she had prayed under the frigid desert night. The faint moonlight there stood as a testament to unyielding faith. Though barren and solitary, nature still granted humanity resilience and the power to birth hope. That image stirred her spiritual strength, urging her forward without hesitation. With confident body language, Tekoa straightened her back, her gaze fixed unwaveringly on David. She needed no words to convey her resolve. Her stance alone told the story of courage. Her thoughts shifted to a new phase, no longer the tension of potential failure, but a determination to sow the seeds of forgiveness. She understood that only by placing the issue on the scales of conscience could she touch the king's heart. In a rare moment of silence, Tekoa wielded the language of emotion and wisdom to shift the tide. She spoke of a mother, her heart shattered, as she watched her youngest child perish at a robber's hand. This was not just personal grief, but the anguished cry of an entire Tekoa family, where justice flickered like desert foam. She then guided David's thoughts to a vision of his son, Absalom, a child with dreams and a heart brimming with filial love, yearning to return to his father's embrace. In her imagination, she painted Absalom standing outside the city walls, gazing at the throne with fragile hope. Absalom's eyes reflected in David's, stirring the king's indifference. She harnessed the power of imagery to place David before the mirror of his conscience. Instead of punishment, forgiveness was the path to hope for the future, not only for Absalom, but for David himself, sparing him the weight of hatred and resentment. Tekoa knew that if resentment prevailed, David would lose more than he gained. He would sever the bond of father and son, plunging the kingdom into crisis. She depicted that bleak prospect with intricate detail, making the palace air swirl with unease. Even the court advisors, poised beside the throne, listened intently. They exchanged anxious glances, wondering if Tekoa's motives were genuine. Some believed Joab had orchestrated a performance, but others saw compassion gleam through her every gesture. Tekoa let their doubts fuel her resolve. She used them as leverage to heighten her persuasiveness. Each thought she wove into words laid a brick in the foundation of trust, shaking the throne of David. As the palace's afternoon light softened, Tekoa marked a turning point. She declared that divine justice was not a sword, but forgiveness, a priceless gift from God. She drew on the image of desert camels, though battered, still showing mercy to weary travelers. This evoked the vital role of compassion in all circumstances. Such natural symbols awakened the instinct to protect humanity and stirred in David a broader sense of maternal love for all the kingdom's people. The climax arrived as David's eyes grew somber, holding tears yet to fall. He pondered deeply the balance between royal duty and fatherly love. The room seemed to freeze, filled only with the urgent beat of hearts and the breeze through the windows. Tekoa sensed a spark in the king's heart, like desert mountains suddenly sprouting life. The monarch's once hardened soul softened as she posed a final unspoken question. If God willingly forgives every sin, why can't humanity in His name show mercy to one another? Connecting to the modern world, Tekoa breathed a timeless message into every heart. Standing up to speak truth and defend justice is not just the duty of the powerful, but of all of us. Ordinary people, when faced with injustice, she feared no schemes, undaunted by courtly whispers, for she knew her heart held an undying inspiration from the prayers by Tekoa's well. As the day's final sunset gilded the intricately carved reliefs through the great window, Tekoa stepped back. In her eyes was the peace of one who had fulfilled her role, planting the seed of forgiveness in a king's heart, and through him, hope for a nation. Her wise and courageous act ignited a sacred flame of justice, one that would burn on in David's heart, in the kingdom of Israel, and in the souls of all who believe in the power of compassion. Thus, Tekoa's journey of growth was not confined to that palace encounter. It radiated across history's paths, instilling faith in forgiveness and hope so that anyone, no matter their origin, could become a source of life, a light amidst darkness. As the decisive moment erupted in the majestic expanse of Jerusalem's palace hall, everything seemed to pause. The candles lining the walls flickered dimly. The footsteps of courtiers hushed to silence. In that tranquil stillness, King David, a man who had known forgiveness countless times, shifted his profound gaze to the small figure of the woman of Tekoa kneeling before him. His heart softened, recognizing that the sincere power of her words stemmed not from political cunning, but from a deep faith in the essence of divine justice. Tekoa, maintaining her quiet composure, sensed the monumental moment unfolding before her. She remained unshaken by curious stares, unyielding to speculations about her motives. In her heart, the prayers whispered by Tekoa's dry well echoed, reminding her that despite harsh realities, love and mercy could still take root. The space around her grew strangely serene, filled only with her breath mingling with David's sigh from the throne, a sound laden with turmoil and a yearning for reconciliation. From the shadows behind the throne, the courtiers' whispers faded. The officials exchanged glances, no longer filled with doubt, but with quiet astonishment and admiration. They realized that in Tekoa, they saw not just a grieving widow, but a heart that shared others' pain, a mind more merciful than any philosophy. The scene unfolded like a slow-moving painting, each stroke revealing the transformation in David's soul, from anger and skepticism to an openness to the message of forgiveness. In that climactic moment, A faint glimmer sparked in the king's eyes, like sunlight slipping through leaves at dawn. He suddenly understood that the fictional tale of a mother losing her child, though a metaphor, held more power than the harshest verdict. The story was not just about an imagined son, but a mirror reflecting the deep pain of his own son, Absalom, who longed for love and acceptance. In that instant, David realized he had long been bound by the tension between justice and fatherly love, dimming his faith in a father's compassion for his child. David's decision was not the outcome of a courtly drama, but the turning point of a heart both broken and yearning to heal. He nodded slowly, his eyes tinged with sorrow yet warm, resolving to summon Absalom back, a choice like a gentle breeze sweeping through a parched land, bringing hope and healing to a teetering kingdom. The courtiers could scarcely conceal their joy and emotion, but above all, their faith in the power of mercy was restored. Tekoa rose quietly, her heart ablaze with indescribable joy, yet cloaked in calm. She knew this moment was merely the prelude to a thorny journey of reconciliation between father and son, between royal duty and paternal love. Each step she took away from the throne echoed a steadfast belief that a single drop of mercy could carve a vast river of humanity. The seed of forgiveness had been planted in David's soul, and through the king it would spread to every corner of Israel. As the palace air shifted toward dusk, the reliefs depicting Israel's history glowed golden, as if welcoming Tekoa's departure. She lifted her face to the sky, painted in hues of pink and purple, where clouds drifted like witnesses to the miracle of compassion. From this moment, the story of divine justice and mercy was no longer Tekoa's alone, but a living testament for every soul daring to believe in the healing power of forgiveness. This testament was not confined to the palace moment. It resonated through generations. Tekoa's actions remind us that we, ordinary people in the modern world, can also be messengers of hope and love. When facing injustice, a courageous voice, a memory of prayer, and an open heart can transform hatred into forgiveness, division into harmony, and despair into hope. In today's world, each of us faces our own King Davids, be it leaders, loved ones, or even ourselves, when making choices about justice and love. Imagine if we, like Tekoa, dared to speak truth despite trembling hearts, dared to sow forgiveness despite fragile faith. Such mercy would spread like dawn, dispelling the darkness of resentment and igniting a flame of hope in every soul. As the final sunset fell over Jerusalem's walls, Tekoa walked amid the gentle strains of courtly music, but within her resounded a song of triumph, a song of love overcoming resentment, courage conquering fear, and truth prevailing over schemes. The climax and resolution she forged were not mere legends of old, but a grand invitation for all. Let mercy lead the way, so divine justice and love may forever reign in our hearts. Returning to the heart of the Tekoa desert, the woman found a sliver of peace after the turmoil of her heart. The sunset draped the golden sand in a warm glow, its gentle light tracing her shoulders like a blessing from the vast sky. Each grain of sand beneath her feet whispered tales of mercy and hope. Under this soothing, arid sunlight, Tekoa keenly felt that her mission had sown seeds of love in the kingdom of Israel, where the pain of fatherly love and the demands of justice had once shaken David's throne. When Absalom was summoned back to Jerusalem, word of King David's forgiveness spread far and wide. surpassing even the city's sturdy walls. The people of Tekoa buzzed with talk, from the small market corner where mothers lined up to draw water, to the town gate where soldiers patrolled. The story of the nameless woman with a grand mission echoed. Many marveled that a mere widow could move a mighty king to release his resentment, proving that God could use anyone to accomplish greatness. Though David and Absalom needed time to heal their wounds, the first steps toward reconciliation had begun. Tekoa did not witness the moment they embraced, but her heart burned with unwavering faith that once a heart opens, happiness finds its way even through pain. She imagined Absalom crossing the palace gates, his eyes tinged with sorrow, yet brimming with hope, and David opening his arms in welcome. Though their story held many turns, the foundation of peace was firm, built on the choice to forgive. The woman of Tekoa never heard thanks from the king's lips, nor saw Absalom's true smile. Yet her sincerity, faith, and courage planted seeds of salvation in the people's hearts, letting hope sprout and thrive in every soul. For centuries to come, Tekoa's image was not just a biblical legend, but a testament to the hidden strength in anyone, even those deemed ordinary or small, who, when chosen by God, could achieve the extraordinary. God often uses humble souls, quiet spirits, to overturn the tides of injustice. From the Tekoa desert to Jerusalem's Grand Hall, her story proves that the greatest power lies not in thrones or crowns, but in the steadfastness of a heart that loves and forgives. The image of this simple widow walking through scorching sand was like a wildflower blooming in a barren desert, spreading the fragrance of compassion across the wilderness. In today's fast-paced world, we're easily swept into the whirlwind of work, responsibilities, and unseen pressures. Each day, we face countless injustices in families, among friends, colleagues, and society. Whether petty conflicts or deep wounds, we always have a choice in how to respond. Resentment or forgiveness, bitterness or an open heart. Tekoa's story rings out as a powerful reminder. Let truth, courage, and faith guide you, no matter how great the challenge. You, watching this video, can be a Tekoa in your own story. When faced with injustice, don't stay silent. Use gentle words to touch the hearts of those weighed down by resentment. Sow seeds of forgiveness, even if you don't see immediate results. For a single small act, a courageous choice, can unleash a miraculous healing power, paving the way for hope and restoration. Every step you take today, however short or simple, carries the potential for change. Like Tekoa on the desert sand, you need no fanfare, no grandeur, just a sincere heart. The pearl of compassion lies not in appearances, but in unwavering sincerity and faith. When you speak truth with mercy, you plant seeds of justice, and those seeds will grow, spreading through communities, igniting a collective strength for harmony and love. Let this message echo forever in your heart. No matter who you are or where you come from, you can bring the light of justice and love into the world. No one is too small to achieve greatness. No one is too great to shirk the duty of sharing love. When faith leads and courage shines, every barrier can be overcome. Remember, every small act, a kind word, a shared gesture, holds the power to alter destinies. From these acts, new generations will know hope and faith, making love and forgiveness humanity's shared language. Thank you for joining the story of Tekoa, a vivid testament to enduring faith and resilient courage. If you feel inspired, Don't hesitate to hit subscribe to stay tuned for more meaningful stories. Press like if you agree that forgiveness is a world-changing force, and share this video with friends and family to spread the message of divine justice. See you in the next video. The story of Deborah, where we'll explore another woman's extraordinary journey used by God to work miracles in ordinary life. May you always hold fast to faith and be a light for those in need of hope.